What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel. Now today we're going to be covering another Pokemon added back into the game with Pokemon Home, and that is Jirachi. Now Jirachi is one of the few Pokemon that actually was able to skate by into the OU tier. Even though it only had half a month to post usage stats, it still made it. So that just shows you just how good this thing actually is. And it has a lot going for it. So we're going to talk about that today. But if you missed the State of the Meta address from last week, make sure you check that out. It'll be up in the iCard above. But we basically talk about all of the changes that came to the metagame now in the month of March. And it's pretty cool. But Jirachi is kind of a big deal in OU. It's really strong, and we're going to talk about a lot of potential sets. It is a mythical Pokemon, and so it has base 100 in all stats, which is absolutely fantastic. That way it can be bulky, it can be offensive, and it has a huge move pool, and so it does a lot of things really, really well. It also has an amazing typing in Steel and Psychic, and an amazing ability in Serene Grace, and it is able to abuse Serene Grace so much with its moveset. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about that. So this first set we're gonna talk about is a Choice Scarf set. And we used a set very similar to this in a recent Wi-Fi battle. I'll put that up in the iCard above. We didn't have Trick on it, we had Thunder instead, and it was on a rain team. And it did some work. It was pretty cool. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, so we've got Iron Head here, and we've got Healing Wish, we've got U-Turn, but Iron Head has a 30% chance to flinch. Except for if you have Serene Grace, which doubles secondary effects. So you now have a 60% chance to flinch your opponent. You are scarfed. It's stupid. It's really good. Yeah, so you're just going to sit there, and most of the time, you're going to be able to flinch your opponent like crazy, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. It's just, it's tough. Now, this thing does struggle against things like Dragapult, obviously being a little stronger, Cinderace being as fast as it is, and it carries Sucker Punch a lot of the time. So you do have to watch out for Sucker Punch users. That is a problem for this. But, I mean, besides that, this thing's really nice. I think it's pretty strong. And, yeah, this is a really good set. I think it still holds up. This is a set that was used commonly last generation, and several of these are too. But like, they still hold up even in the current meta, because really not a ton has changed as far as what coverage is really needed. So yeah, this next set is going to be a Wish Protect set, and we've added Body Slam. Body Slam has a 30% chance to paralyze the target. So now you have a 60% chance to paralyze your opponent. Then once they're paralyzed, you have a 60% chance to flinch them on top of the chance to be fully paralyzed. This thing is disgusting. It's super, super annoying to go against, and it's super frustrating to be on the other end of. But yeah, and then you've got Wish Protect to heal back up if your opponent actually gets an attack off. It's kind of dumb. Now, we have a specially defensive set on this, and we're running 32 speed EVs, and this is to outspeed Tyranitar if it is Jolly max speed. Now, some Tyranitars tend to run the Adamant variant, in which this would be overkill. This is for Jolly. And so if your opponent is running a Jolly max speed Tyranitar out of the blue, just running an offensive one, this helps you to be able to outspeed that, hit it with that Iron Head, and do a good chunk of damage. You do about a third with Iron Head, but you do have that 60% chance to flinch, which is pretty great. And plus, if you catch it on switch in, you can Body Slam it to paralyze it, and then you don't have to even worry about the speed. So, but that is what this is for, and it's pretty cool. Now, this next set is going to be a Stealth Rock set. Yep, this thing gets rocks too. It's pretty great. And we've got Iron Head and Fire Punch. Fire Punch is for Ferrothorn. So typically, if you're running this kind of a set, Ferrothorn feels like it can come in pretty easily to try to trade rocks with you. But carrying Fire Punch makes it to where it is not so free to do that. And I think it's really good coverage. It covers opposing steals that may want to come in on you, but it's mainly there for Pharaoh, and it does really well. Of course, Iron Head and U-Turn allowing you to pivot out and choose a better switch in. Now, this thing can run a special set, and you have a 10% chance to lower special defense. Now it's a 20% chance, as well as a 20% chance to paralyze on these moves. It's pretty crazy. We're running a spec set on this just for the extra boost in power. You could, of course, run Scarf if you wanted to, but I prefer specs just for that extra power. It's great. I think Jirachi's speed is really nice in this gen. It's still pretty quick considering even after everything was added in Pokemon Home. Since we don't have all of our legendaries back just yet, 100 is still a good speed tier, and even 95 is still a good speed tier. That's kind of why Kyurem is doing really well, because 95 is actually pretty strong right now. And so, yeah, I think this can do really good things. Flash Cannon just allows you to you do a certain amount of damage to your opponent, and then you have an increased chance to lower their special defense, and now you're doing even more with every single hit. You could also run a metronome on this set if you would like to, and basically what that does is it boosts the damage if you keep clicking the same move, and it goes up to 2 times the damage if you click the same move 5 times in a row. So that could also be an option in conjunction with clicking like Flash Cannon over and over. Plus, it gives you the flexibility to choose a different move if you so desire. So just something to think about. Now, you want to get super, super awful. We've got Subwish Toxic Ironhead. This is like awful. This is such a terrible thing to do to your opponent. But so you sub on the switch, and then you toxic your opponent, and then you Ironhead flinch them as they die to poison. It's gross. It's really, really gross. But it's a thing, and I wanted to make you aware that it's out there, and I'll probably end up featuring this on the channel at some point. I don't know how long it'll be, but I'll probably end up featuring this set on a team eventually. But so before we move on to our final set, which is our meme, I want to go ahead and talk about additional moves that this thing can use, because it gets a lot of options, and I just want to show you what all this thing can do. We have Ancient Power, which Ancient Power is only useful really on Jirachi, because now we have a 20% chance for an Omni boost, which is insane. So you could run some meme set with Ancient Power. That is not what our meme is for today, actually. Almost. It was a contender, but not today. We have Aura Sphere, which gives you great fighting type special coverage. It's pretty cool because we don't actually get access to Focus Blast on this, so that is if you need to check anything with that. Body Slam we already talked about. Calm Mind. This thing can Calm Mind up and boost its special attack and special defense, so you could run a physically defensive set. And down in the rarely used moves, we also have Iron Defense, so you could run a Calm Mind Iron Defense set. That is a thing that happens sometimes, and it's out there. It happens. If you can get set up, then you're basically just never gonna die with this. We have Dazzling Gleam for fairy type coverage. This thing gets Draco Meteor on one of its events. I think it's the shiny event, and that's pretty crazy. Usually you're not gonna use it, but now Drain Punch does have use though, and I have seen Choice Banded Jirachi or Life Orb Jirachi with a Drain Punch before, and it basically just gives you a healing option if you're not carrying Wish. So it's a thing. It's pretty cool on physical sets. Encore, this is more for like the lead Jirachis, and so you can stick a Ferrothorn that wants to come in into Stealth Rocks or Spikes or whatever, and it puts it in a bad spot. Energy Ball, that would help you to hit Seismitoad that wants to come in. And with Seismitoad being so prominent right now, this isn't that bad of an option. So I think Energy Ball has usage, and I think you should consider it. Grass Knot, same deal. You could run either of those, and it will help you against those water and ground types, as well as just ground types in general that would want to switch in on you since you are a steel type. It's there. I think it's cool. It would help against Hippowdon as well. Hippowdon is pretty common right now in OU since it just moved up, and so I would consider it. It's there. We have Facade. We have Fire Punch for coverage. Let's see. Healing Wish we talked about. Ice Punch for coverage is really nice. Life Dew, probably not going to be using that. It does get dual screens, which is pretty cool. Magic Coat is a cool move that you could run on a lead Jirachi to bounce back certain hazards, and that is going to be very uncommon, so your opponent is probably not going to see that coming. Meteor Mash. So Jirachi now gets Meteor Mash as a level up move now in Sword and Shield, which is pretty crazy. It's no longer based on an event. So any Jirachi you have can now learn Meteor Mash, and it has a 20% chance to raise your attack by 1, except for if you're a Jirachi. Now it's a 40% chance to raise your attack by 1 stage. So it's viable. It's out there. This thing also gets Power Up Punch, which we were getting to, but like, yeah, Meteor Mash is going to do a lot more damage, and then you can also raise your attack by 1 stage. I think this has a lot of sweeping potential, and now it's a lot more accessible for a Jirachi to have this. You don't have to worry about having the specific Jirachi that got Meteor Mash. Any of them can have it now, so it makes it a lot easier for that to shine now. It gets Moonblast, which is better than Dazzling Gleam. It gets Player Up if you need physical coverage, and of course, all of these secondary effects are doubled. So 60% chance to lower special attack by 1. So, you know, if you're running a like physically bulky set, you could run this and lower their special attack. So that's a thing. Let's see. We've got Psychic and Psyshock. Those are cool. We've got Shadow Ball. We've got Stealth Rock. We talked about Steel Beam. I almost thought of using Steel Beam as the meme, but didn't. Thunder Punch for coverage. T-Wave. Trick Room if you want to do that. You could run Trick Room with something like the Room Service. That's a thing you could do. U-Turn, and of course Zen Headbutt. So yeah, this thing gets a ton of really cool coverage, but you know what we're gonna have to do for the meme? There's a move that this thing gets that we didn't mention, and that's Doom Desire. Now, Doom Desire is Jirachi's signature move, and it's never used because it's really bad. So what we've done here is we have Sub, Wish, Calm Mind, Doom Desire. So basically what this is you hide behind a substitute, you wish up, you Calm Mind in order to get stronger and stronger, and you fire off Doom Desires. And as you're waiting for Doom Desire to hit, because the way Doom Desire works is it is a base 140 power steel type move. However, it waits 2 turns before it actually does anything. So you sit there and you're waiting on it to do anything. Yeah, so the reason this set's so bad is because literally anything can just set up on you because it's your only way of doing damage. But if you get set up, this is going to nuke basically anything on the other side. It's pretty cool. If you set yourself up in the right position, this could do work, but this is very, very much a meme. Doom Desire is not good, so don't take it from me that it's a good move. It's not. This is totally a meme, but I think it's a thing. I think it could work. I think Doom Desire is just funny to pull out. It basically works the same as Future Sight. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing that exists. So I think you should try it out. It's pretty funny if you use this on your opponents. But anyway, guys, that is going to be all for today. And yeah, what do you guys think of Jirachi in the current meta? I think it's a pretty cool boy. I think he's going to do really, really well in the meta, at least until we get like our Tapu's back and all that stuff, and this thing kind of gets smushed down and doesn't get used as much. But until then, I think this thing's going to be really strong, at least until June. And it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing just how far the meta can push this thing. And yeah, it's just really, really cool. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.